Turnip28, a future game of historic war in a post-apocalyptic Napoleonic world. It's about the year 2800, but the technological advancement stopped about 1,000 years earlier, so everyone is generally in a pretty terrible state. The world has been taken over by a sentient root-like being, which has, for over the last 1,000 years, slowly replaced everything with mimics grown from itself. The last remaining humans fight each other for the last shreds of land and food, driven by the unstoppable force of the root. This is a quick overview of the version 16a rule set, available on Max Fitzgerald's Turnip Patreon. Roll initiative before the game. The winner goes first. A game consists of 4 rounds. Whoever finished ordering their units first last round gets to go first in the next one. Orders are alternating, so initiative first activates a unit, gives it an order, rolls to see if it works, actions the order and subsequently does whatever it says in the additional rules. Then the other player does the same until no units are left to order. Possible orders are shoot, move and shoot, march, or charge into melee. It is possible to mess these up and blunder, which means you have to do a diminished version of the order, and if you're doing a scenario, you have to activate that scenario's blunder also. Movement works exactly how you would normally expect it to work. Measure a distance, move the unit, roll for terrain tests, check for coherency, drag your snob along kicking and screaming about the woes of the battlefield. Shooting straightforward as well. Declare the closest target. Check to see if both can shoot. Whoever can shoot then rolls their shooting. If it's a black powder weapon, they can only shoot once per turn, hence why you have to check. Charge and the subsequent melee that follows. Declare a target. They have to take a panic test. If they fail, they immediately retreat. If they don't, then they're able to stand and shoot. You move the full distance of the charge, even if the target has retreated beyond range. However, if you catch a retreating unit, it is completely removed from the battle. Once in melee, you take it in turns to whack each other. The winner is whoever caused the most wounds. If there is no winner, you do it again, and again, and again. The loser retreats, meaning no one gets locked into combat in this game. Panic is an interesting addition to the standard playing set of a tabletop game. Your units accumulate panic throughout the battle. At various points in the game, you take a panic test. The more panic tokens a unit has, the more likely they are to fail the test. Failures generally result in your unit retreating, which can be just as devastating as actually being in combat, if not more. There are various terrain types with rules and size details in the rulebook. Those are cover, impassable terrain, defensible terrain, and dangerous terrain. They're all quite self-explanatory titles. There's also a number of pre-made scenarios with special deployment and blunder rules. These will expand as the campaign segments come out in subsequent rule sets, but generally speaking you're on a 4x4 board with a 12-inch deployment from an edge, 5 bits of terrain, plus a selection of cover and scatter. Each pre-made scenario has an additional rule for blunders, which really do change the dynamic of a game. Building a regiment in Turnip is incredibly straightforward. It is designed around a 3-snob game. Snobs are your leaders. Each of these snobs can have a number of followers. Your toff, your main leader, your head honcho, they have 2. Your toadies, their assistants, the suck-ups, are the people who get the blame, they have a single follower each. Followers are broken down into various units. Fodder, your bread and butter fighters, 12 of them, relatively poor stats, but they have strength in numbers. Brutes, half the unit size of fodder, but twice the fighter, better stats overall. Chaff, these are like forward scouts, there's 4 of them, and they are weapons of mass destruction. Whelps are mounted cavalry. They have an interesting interaction with fleeing units. Bastards are basically mounted brutes. They're strong and deadly. More units are available once you start adding cults to the game. Cults add extra rules and thematic flavours. I won't be going into them right now, as this is just a basic overview, but if you want to read about them, they're on page 28 of the manual as of version 16a. That about wraps the basics up. You should have a gist of the game now. Why don't you watch our battle report and see how we handled it? make sure you download the rules from Max's Patreon. I've been Kitbash, this is Squidzilla Inc., and thank you for watching.